welcome to another exciting episode of the Million Dollar Peddlers. I'm Paper Guy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
And today we have a interesting topic I wanted to bring up, Mr. Magazine. And I know you've noticed it quite a bit. Why do people who are selling not generally, but a lot of times, think that they have gold mines?
Why do they think they have gold mines?
When they come in to sell something to you, why do they think it's worth a lot of money when it may or may not be?
Well, I don't think they're educated in the online sense of what things are actually selling for and what people are asking for them. I think there's a big difference between that. So I think they just go on and they look for the higher priced items, of that item. So if there's 10 of them sold or 10 asking, they're going to go for the highest one. Or they're going to look for the graded one and not realize the graded item is not what they have.
That's a real good one there. The graded item is definitely
the Playboys are the best because everyone calls them. I got the Seinfeld Playboy and the Pamela Anderson, Dan Aykroyd Playboy, and they're worth thousands. And no, they're really not. We're selling them for $10 online. They have a hard time believing that.
And I was going to bring in one of the reasons why I think a lot of people believe that they have treasures. And this came to me the other day because of something that you had said, Mr. Magazine.
Okay.
Your dear departed father. What did he always say about... You know exactly where I'm going with this. What did he always say about the baseball bat collection that you guys had?
Well, we have a walk-in bank vault that my father bought years and years ago, and it took a ton of guys to put it in, and they welded it together and all that. And it's neat. It's got the big,
it's awesome.
Got the big door handles and all that. And in there, he claimed we had 900 autographed bats. Where that number came up, I don't know. I think it was more like 100, which is still not
It's
bad.
Still a nice
not
collection,
bad, sure.
Yeah.
But
certainly.
it was not 900. I never thought about it until. You said, "Wow, that's a lot of bats." I'm like, you're right. That is a lot of bats, and I don't think it's really 900. I'm trying to envision 900 bats. It's like that guy cramming, 800 cigarettes in his mouth for the Guinness Book of World Records or something like that. But, yeah.
Well, and we'll take out the 900 bats, but how many people, families, whatever, part of their folklore is, Dad says this is really, really valuable.
Yeah.
And so they just think, well, Dad said this stuff was really valuable, and they don't know the good from the bad. Right. Or all the time their dad said, this is going, you might have said, this is going to be worth, and let's say that you really had 100 bats in there. But you didn't know, you didn't get into the business. Your dad had just done all those, and he told you, and he probably did pay back in the day $150 for Eddie Matthews to sign it, or $100 for Eddie Matthews to sign it, something like that. So you're sitting down, you're going, okay, the bat's worth, it's a $150 bat, got a $150 signature on it, it's worth $300. That was in 1991.
Right.
So now you take inflation in, it's a $500 bat. And you add in, it's got this nice, bat holder. It's got to be $10, $15. So you're talking, it's a $525 bat. I'd be happy getting $250 out of it. And you go to the store to sell it.
Yeah.
And you're like, I know this is worth about it's got to be worth about $500. And the guy looks at you and goes, they're selling for $175. Yeah. And you can't believe that.
Right.
Because so much money was put into it in the first place. And I'll tell you another place where your father bought a lot of stuff, but he certainly was not the only person. A lot of people overpaid for stuff on QVC.
Yeah. Definitely. There were some good deals, but it's one of those things where you buy 500 items, you're going to get 50 really, really good deals, 50 really bad deals, and you probably pay average on the rest.
The rest of them, yep. And they certainly didn't appreciate, or a lot of the items didn't appreciate like the people said that they would. This is going to go up great in value. It's going to.
Right.
And then the problem comes in, and or this is a first edition. My dad said this was a first edition book, and they bring it on in, and you look at it, and you're like, no, it's actually not. I hate to tell you this, it's not a first edition. It's a book club edition. I'm sorry. Right. And that kind of thing. And so family folklore, I think, is another reason, like I said. Who wants to believe that? That's the other side of it. If your father all the time had told you that this is a first edition Ernest Hemingway book, and it's worth $5,000 because it's a first edition,
Right.
and it's a signed first edition, so it's worth all this, and you bring it in, and the guy looks at it and he goes, no, this isn't his signature.
Right.
You don't want to believe that.
That's exactly how you just keep it.
You keep it, right. Because in your head, well, I know this is real. My dad said it's real. My dad said he got it himself.
Yeah.
Well, no, your dad was down in Key West one time and bought it from a guy who said that he got it himself. Because he used to go to the same bar as Hemingway. Well, it wasn't really signed by him.
Yeah, and that's where I would not even make them an offer. I would say, I'm not going to make you an offer. You wouldn't believe me if you offered me $5. I wouldn't even pay $5 for it because you'd think I'd be stealing it. So I'd rather not buy it whatsoever.
Yep, and I've done the same thing with people before where I've said, I think you needed a little more research on this. Here's why I think it's a book club edition. Because when you open the flap, it says book club on it. That was my first clue. But you got to nicely say that to them. But say, do a little more research on it and all that stuff.
Well, that's why I print it out on eBay, because they don't know to get the completed sold prices. So I'll actually print it out. I'll print out multiple copies if I can. Circle them, say, hey, it's sold. Here's the sold logo. Here's the price, and that's what yours is, and that's what expect to get half of that.
Right.
So.
And again, there are times where I think people do know that what they have isn't really what they've been told that they have, but they're hoping that you don't know any better either. Right. And there are those occasions as well. But I think a lot of times it truly is somebody believing what they've been told throughout the years and placing an inflated value on it, or again not realizing. And we've talked about it a million times. But if my grandfather, I don't remember when he passed. I think he passed in 91. If he had spent his lifetime putting together a great Hopalong Cassidy collection, and all of a sudden I inherit it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I know Grandpa paid $400 for this. He paid $700 for this. I've got all the receipts from what he bought, and it's a $150,000 collection.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's a $50,000 collection now. And it's going to be a slow-selling $50,000 collection. You'll be lucky to get 10 out of it.
Well, even if it was $150,000, you're not going to find anyone on the planet paying anywhere near a third of that price. You might get the same price if it's $50,000 or $150,000, $10,000, either way, because we're going to find someone with that kind of money
that wants
it or has. They're either going to collect it, and they need room and they need money, or they're going to sell it, which they need time, space, and money. So,
and even if they collect it, anybody, and we'll just use the Hopalong Cassidy as a perfect example. I cannot imagine there are a lot of people out there right now who say, I've got a lot of extra money sitting in my pocket and I would just love for a nearly complete Hopalong Cassidy collection to come along so I can buy it.
Yeah.
The people that would be interested in buying it would be other collectors.
Right.
However, if you're another collector, how many items out of that $150,000 collection do you actually need if you're in the position where you'd be willing to buy the collection?
Yeah.
The top 20 items, maybe. You might need 20 items and a couple of oddball. Oh, this guy got some Japanese items that I don't have.
Yeah.
20% of the collection?
Right, exactly.
15. Yeah. And then so now you're looking at it going, okay, I can pay $10,000 because I would pay $10,000 for these 20% that I need.
Right.
Now I got to figure out how to get rid of the, I'll upgrade a few things. Now I got to figure out how to get rid of the rest of it as well.
Yeah.
Try to get my money back so I can get my stuff for free.
Right.
So it's interesting, and it kind of got me wondering though about why so many people think they have gold mines. And again, I do think it's people want to believe. I mean, nobody wants to believe that my father, grandfather, great grandfather, me put together this great collection of stuff and nobody cares and nobody wants it. I spent my entire life putting it together and it's worth 7 cents. Nobody wants to believe that. So I think that's part of it as well. And I think we see the flip side of that a lot of times as well. Just when people are getting rid of their collections, you can tell how much it means to them because they remember having put it together. They remember, they understand it's time to move on or worse, they absolutely have to sell it because of the money or divorce or something like that. I mean, that does happen as well. But we see that side of it as well.
Even condition's a big factor there, too, because we just had a big run on 80s toys. People bringing in their 80s toys collection, Star Wars, He-Man, Transformers, and they're played with, and they're missing parts and accessories and stuff, and they think, oh, my God, these things are worth a fortune. they're worth something, but I'll make them an offer and I'll say this is what I'm basing it off the condition and they're incomplete. I go, if you have mint complete ones, you might get 5 times the price from me, but these aren't mint and complete. It's a big difference. They're not gradable. And they have to learn and understand that as well.
Well, and the other side of that as well is you're doing a lot of work as well, especially if they're like most collections, where they've kind of got the wrong accessories in with the wrong pieces. 'Cause they played with them, and when they put them away, now you've got to take the time. And nothing against any of your employees, but your employees probably don't know what goes with what.
Yeah, a few hours ago I just bought a collection of toys, and it was like wrestling figures, superhero figures, and Ben 10, but it was all mixed in tubs, parts and this and that, and wrestling parts and cages, and the stuff might be worth $1,000 if it's all assembled properly, put together. I made him a $100 offer because one, it's a lot of work. I don't have time for that. He sold it. He didn't understand why I was so low. I go, listen, if you want to go home and sort everything out, put every weapon with every character and clean them up and stuff, I could give you at least 250. Yeah, right. But you give me a lot of work, a lot of space. There's 4 tubs of stuff. Right now they're going to be stacked up in the corner of my warehouse, and who knows when I'm going to get to them. So, and most people understand that, but you got to explain it to them so they do understand.
So hopefully that helps you a little bit there when you're negotiating. It isn't always that the buyer is coming out trying to soak you. Sometimes they absolutely just do not know, and it's because of what they've been told by the family throughout the years. Hopefully that helps you a little bit. Hit the like button if you could. That would help us, and we will see you next video.
Take care. Bye-bye.